I will say before we move forward, I would like to bring attention to the fact that my name is Shellatron, and I am back on the draft here now, making our way forward. Of course, joined by Sulpin. Sulpin, you've put on a little bit of weight, but I think it does you well, brother. I think you look absolutely phenomenal with the
Oh, thank
extra
you.
fat on your cheeks. I think you look
Perfect.
rosy and jolly as can be. But moving our way back to this draft here, notably the one major change is they get rid of the Gwen, or they get rid of the Ezreal and replace it with a Gwen, and they first pick the Ezreal this time. So an immediate switch up, but Degens, Jin secured.
Yeah, there it is. Bixis again on this, and they're just running it back. Same bot lane. Kylo Ren on the Morgana safety all over the place for the rest of the squad. I do love this first pick though for Zenigma Eclipse, man. The Ezreal is broken. Divine Sunder is not nerfed yet. That's tomorrow, okay? So the 12% damage on the on-hit damage from the Mystic shots is going to do damage. It's going to hurt. He's going to scale, and it's going to be a tougher lane for Degenerates this time around.
Right. I think the lockdown potential really stunted the growth of that Tristana, which was going to be the major oppressor for that comp that led them out of the mid game into the scaling position where they had the Zir and they had the Jax actually available to be a part of this comp. And that never came to fruition because you had such a great pace of play from Darth Kylo Ryan. This man's Morgana was on a hunt constantly. And then, of course, Katakira, when he was available, always in that bot lane, made it nearly perfect. This time around, though, you are correct. A combination of the Karma Ezreal is going to be constant poke in that bot lane, and while it may not be an easier time, I still have hope. At the end of the day, though, finishing off this first round of picks, you've got the Akali and what looks to be, again, the Lee Sin.
Yeah, they're putting Kite back onto this champ. If it worked game one, let's just run it back. They will not be able to pick up Gwen this time around. It was banned to Enigma for good reason. Crimvale doing a lot of damage there. And we'll see if the Shen comes through again for Degenerates, if they're willing to blind it this time. Jax is gone, and Zenigma Eclipse do not want to give Hajime either Malphite, or I'm guessing Cho'Gath is going to be the last man for Zenigma Eclipse.
Yeah, we'll see that one probably come through once again. That being said, looking at the first bans, or my apologies, the first banning phase that we had in before game one, the whole Shen switch up was due into reaction by that Jax. This time around, they're going to have to make a choice regarding, what counter pick will be actually available and on the board here. So that's going to be a huge one to look out for. Set, though, coming through to mark the final ban here for Degenerates Ascension, and probably most notably, like you said, that Cho'Gath as well.
Yeah, just real quick, breaking news, because this is important for both Degenerates and Enigma. Cape Dogs win their game against Divine Ascension in a 52-minute game one. 52 minutes. Insane. Already the other series that's important for Degenerates. So they're kind of scoreboard watching as well. And it's not the Cho'Gath. It is a tough one. But it's not Cho'Gath, it's Silas being taken away, and Hajime straight to the Wukong.
Straight to the Wukong, and this continues to bolster the fact that they're looking to play it out as early as possible here for Degenerates. It worked in game one and allowed for mid-game pressure that led to their victory, even in a 4v5 scenario. Now, I think the Shen provided a lot more safety that gave the ability for Bixis and the rest of his squad to step up. The Wukong doesn't really have that, but what he lacks in safety, he brings forward and engage and set up for this squad. And personally, I can think that can be just as good, but the response from Zenigma is strong. They put that Xin Xiao back on the board. Still a really hot, fast tempo jungler that is taking everyone off their seats here right now. And then the Garen response, I think it plays very well into the Wukong, but in terms of presence past the lane, leaves a little bit more to be expected.
Yeah, yeah, I'm playing straight for lane once again.
Strictly
because
for lane.
You have Jaredon back on the Xin Zhao, who was camping that top side, and I imagine will be camping it again. And in retaliation, you will have just even more explosiveness. I mean, look at the comps from both sides. Xin Zhao, Akali in the mid jungle duo versus Diana Lee Sin. Okay, so this is just so much bruiser damage, even some CC being thrown at each other. And I gotta say, oh man, I love both mid lane picks actually. Akali and Diana are wonderfully strong in the skirmishy early game from Lee Sin and Xin Zhao. I really feel like we're going to get a lot of blood early. And that favors the Jhin Morgana bot side. If they can kind of carry that into the bottom skirmish area where you can skirmish around the Scuttle buff and early Drake, I think it's going to favor Degenerates early game. Towards that mid game, once Ezreal gets his Divine Sunderer and his Manamune, oh my goodness, the poke from Ez Karma is just going to be insane. So Degenerates will have to find and engage. Otherwise, Enigma are going to be able to whittle them down before the team fight starts.
Exactly. I am looking here at this Enigma comp, and you're putting a lot of faith in that Ezreal to come through. Personally, I mean, I don't think that's a problem. We've seen, Tonic play out incredible presence in the bot lane before, and I think the Ezreal's in a state that will be as oppressive as we need to expect here. But past that, it's going to be difficult for the rest of this squad to get on top of exactly who they want to. Lockdown, knock up, control. It's all there here for this Degenerates roster. Granted, flank come through. Maybe I'm wrong, but at the end of the day, everything's very straightforward, one-dimensional for this Enigma squad right now.
Yeah. They see Big Sis, they kill Big Sis. That's what they want to do.
That's it. That's your goal.
That's
your
their
goal.
one-track mind. And so, yeah, for a fact that Akali and Xin Zhao will just be diving Big Sis super, super deep. So we'll see what they do. Warboss Justin and Zenigma, the duo, looking to find that back line. Even Garen, probably Winterfresh, is just going to be making a beeline for Big Sis. And they have some good CC and peel, but I think that Crimvale and Katakira on the Lee Sin and Diana are just going to be kind of engaging on the Ezreal as well. So we'll see what the priority targets are for both squads. It's going to be interesting.
I will admit, though, you brought up a point regarding Zenigma, and granted, he does like to play towards that top side, hence the Rift Herald statistics that we brought up during the pre-show and the 2 to boot with this first game. His focus should not be on top lane this game. I don't care how much presence you put into Winterfresh's Garen. That's not going to be the success of this game. You need to put Bixis on the behind early, or else that's it. You already know where Kite's going. He showed us in game 1 that's all Kite wants to do, right? Jaredon needs to pick it up as well here. Tonic is on the Ezreal, and if he does not get to the point where he has that Sunder, where he has the pressure to be a poke comp, it's just going to be a constant roll when you start lining up the potential shift and engage, whether you bring in the Wukong or Kite comes through and gets off a great flank gank that was very similar in that first game, right? I want to see his decision and his focus down in the bot. And it's not to say he wasn't in bot game 1, but compared to Akira, who's literally dealing with DC after DC after DC, this man legitimately would not clear camps and would just straight up head to that lane and find success when he needed to.
Hopefully the internet's better so we get a true 5v5. I would love to see, an authentic genuine game. I think it does. Zenigma are not rolling over. It absolutely. I mean, it didn't look great for Zenigma in game 1, but they are third place for a reason. They are up here at the top of our standings for a reason. They've been in big games. They know what they need to do. The problem is, let's just pretend internet's fine. Okay. It's 5v5.
Internet's fine. We're good now. I
really think Jaredon's gonna have a hard time 3v3ing that bot lane. If Katakira gets a counter gank off, or they come into each other, as Karma early game gonna be destroyed by Morgana Jhin. So it's tough, right? So
though they had to get that lockdown done. If they don't get that lockdown, that comp will just walk straight out.
But that's what that's what Bixis and Dark Color Ryan have been doing. They've been hitting their W roots. They've been hitting the dark bindings, and they find the targets. So it's scary. If you're Zen Jaredon early game, you're so squishy, man. You don't have the health or the resistances in order to sustain being CC locked for 3.5 seconds by this bot lane duel of Degenerates. So you need to be extremely careful. You need to time the Karma shields appropriately so that you can use it to dodge the CC. And if they can do that, and then if they can poke out Degenerates early, then it's good for Zenigma. You set yourself up for success, but they have to be careful doing it.
I will admit, though, as we move past this phase of draft here, just to give everyone a little bit of an update on where the rest of the league is currently in the standings. I know we're at week 8, so playoff contention is a big point of interest. Currently, Cape Dogs, of course, come out of that first game, a massive 50-plus minute series, taking the win off of Divine Ascension Sapphire. bolstering their 6th place position. Now, I will say, in parallel to this series, where Divine ends up has immediate reaction on how Degenerates fares if they continue to win games here, because at the end of the day, all Degenerates have to beat in terms of teams is they have to place higher than Divine, Cape Dogs, and Classic. And granted, what may be bad is you just heard me say Cape Dogs are taking a win here. That doesn't sound good in that alignment of what you have to watch out for. But Degenerates will be facing Cape Dogs next week. So what we're looking at here is a tough schedule for Classic. Cape Dogs, while they may find some victories tonight, are going to be going up directly into Degenerates, which the faith is in Degenerates' hands at that point. And then Divine Ascension Sapphire in a position where they're losing tonight, which will already help bolster Ascension's position.
Yeah.
So that's narrative right now. And then, continue.
Yep. I'm taking a look at the standings right now and the schedule that's been played. The Degenerates have a 2-1 series win over Classic, which means if they tie Classic in wins total, they earn the tiebreaker over them. And they have to play Cape Dogs still. So if they maintain this 3-game deficit on Cape Dogs, and if Classic lose out, right? Then if they 3-0 next week, they literally control their own destiny right now. Cape Dogs are at 11-12. Degenerates Ascension at 8-15. Both teams winning out tonight would give Degenerates an opportunity to earn that playoff spot.
Now, Zenigma in a bit of a rougher situation here, notably Redacted take a free series of 3 wins as Supports Burn did surrender. Actually, so they currently have lost their position. They're not actually 3rd right now. They're in 4th after tonight's games. So, 1 win's going to put them back in that 3rd place spot, and another win past that possibly puts them in contention for 2nd. But you have to realize Zenigma is going to be playing against Hawkthorn next week, which arguably I think is the best team in the league. Dunsey disagrees. He's a Lotus White stan. But at the end of the day, it's a tougher path, and while they may find themselves into playoffs, it's unlikely that they find the seeding for a bye.
Well, I'm ready for it, Zephyr. I'm ready
for the next game, baby.
Let's go. Yeah.
All right. A little bit biased here on the desk tonight, but who cares? That's what Light League's all about. That's narrative. We're pushing it. That being said, we're going to push it towards the Rift here, and you'll be joined by Sulpin and Sheltrons as they take you through our 2nd game. Stick around.
And we're back here into the match. Incarnation playing for Zenigma last game, kicking out Kita Akira as a level of shenanigans will start here. That last game was rough, but with Elisan back on the table, they can find those same early game advantages here and now. Degenerates needs these games, every single one of them, as they move closer and closer to playoff contention in that 9th place, just sitting outside of it. Shells, what do you think with this cheesy level 1?
I think for Degens, this was a better comp to aggressively make a move to invade rather than try to stop and invade from a Garen, Zen, and a Kali. But now they just get a positioning there. They actually had a chance to make that work, but very strong timing there for the side of Zenigma, and they avoid getting engaged on. Don't get any wards placed, no deep vision, but still a very strong move. Actually, we do see a ward in that Raptor pit there. So they will get some advantage, but nothing really happening for either side here.
Yeah, some stinky cheese there sniffed out by Zenigma. Gonna be able to walk away from that one scot-free. No skill shots thrown. No blood drawn just yet, as they'll move back towards their standard lane assignments. Once again, it's Kita Akira starting up in this top side. Mirrored starts for junglers 2 games back to back. We'll have to see if that comes into play here as Kita Akira will, of course, be clearing down towards that bot side. And potentially even skipping over the Grugs, and he will just move on towards this bottom side jungle. So a very aggressive early game start here from Kita Akira. He wants to get those kills and those early ganks in before he looks for those disconnects.
Yeah, he wants to make sure that he can get as much pressure on the map before his internet tells him you're done for the night here. So we're going to be seeing him make like you said, a very, very aggressive move. Now, Big Sis and Darth Kylo Ryan do have very strong prio in the lane right now. I doubt there's going to really be a chance for them to make a move against this Jin Morgana lane. Maybe we'll see Kita Akira make a play to try to steal Krugs potentially from this Xin Zhao. We'll have to find out how that is going to work out for him, and maybe try to go for a dive at level 3 potentially. But as of right now, there's a very, very strong advantage brewing in the bot lane for this Degen Ascension squad here.
And it's not entirely about the bot lane either. If they can get these other lanes ahead, they have a deadly wombo combo. Also got to give props to Darth Kylo Ren. I swear this man is 100% on Dark Bindings this game. He seems to be hitting every single one of these, always looking for follow-up from the Jhin to get that comboed in. But it's Warboss Justin in trouble here, forced to flash early as the Sonic Wave connects, but there'll be no more follow-up. Happy to take the Summoner Spell and happy to walk away. That's what the aggressive Lee Sin early game will get you. He gets the clear, looks for mid, and happy to burn a Summoner Spell, making that Kali just a little bit weaker here in the early game.
Yeah, Warboss Justin's going to feel a little bit bad about losing the flash, but we do see Akali's customarily at this point go flashless. Now there is no ignite to make that a little bit better for Warboss Justin, but he's gonna be just fine, as we do see Zen Jaredon take away the Krugs from Kita Akira, and this Lee Sin doesn't take any camps away from this Zen. I think you find yourself in a pretty difficult spot. Although you will still have a better pacing in the jungle, there's a chance to get this Xin Zhao so far behind in camps at a very early point in the game that he just misses out on with that gank at mid and then going back and clearing his wolves.
There's always a risk of just your laners overextending constantly, feeding over kills, and then even if you play the jungle perfectly right, always look for those counter jungle opportunities. You'll end up falling behind anyways. Your teammates will spam jungle diff at you just because you didn't gank their lane. But here in the bottom lane, attempted going possibly thwarted here. It's a flash forward and on Audacious charge here from Zen as he looks to get the knockup. We'll find it. First blood to Akali. Doesn't matter if she's flashless. There's no flash on the Jhin or the Akali now. They'll pick up first blood. And it's Zenigma looking for redemption here.
As we will get a replay of that fight there in the mid lane. Not quite a solo kill by any stretch of the imagination, but we do see Krimveldas making a very aggressive move as the wave is on opposite side of the map here. But out of vision is Zen Zeradon, just comes in. And I mean, a lot of the damage is done, gets the engage here. And once that happens, gets to knock up the shuriken, just comes through all those knives, hit that Diana, and she was cooked from there. That's a very, very clean kill, and 400 gold into an Akali early. Already has a Hextech Alternator into just a Amp Tome on this Diana. This is going to be a a very accelerated Akali, and we know what Akali does, even if she's a little bit behind. An Akali from ahead is going to be even more impressive.
Impressive dragon control so far here from Degenerates. They got the prio in bot lane. They knew the back timing. They're just going to go straight for this Ocean Dragon, picking that one up super early. Very powerful, of course, in this early game. As you know, as a jungler, when you get that Ocean Dragon early game, you just get to go to every single gank with a nice, healthy health bar. You walk away, you take a little bit of damage, you can always just walk right back in a few minutes later. So Winterfresh at level 6, now threatening Hajima underneath his tower. Gotta watch out for that Demacian Judgment.
Yep, definitely do. This Garen is ahead right now in farm, and we have seen a few Garen players in our light league so far. There is one Garen one trick, honestly, but Winterfresh playing this champion here, it should have a very strong advantage as we do move forward. You see he's such strong prio in the lane here, which is going to have a very strong effect on once we do hit that Herald spawn in about 90 seconds time. Able to back up here and get a very clean back without, you know, it doesn't take teleport. So he should have a very, very strong advantage into this Wukong after he does back. But just a very solid map state right now for both teams. 1.5K gold lead for the side of Zenigma Eclipse, but there should be some very strong ways to get back into this game for Degenerates Ascension here.
Grimval making me nervous with these aggressive dashes forward. Always looking to trade down here on a War Boss Justin, which is great. But the last time he crescent striked and went for that dash forwards, he found himself in the middle of a gank. With his Lee Sin not really close by to support him, he needs to be a little bit careful here. These melee versus melee matchups so volatile. And he proved that earlier as he did end up falling to that gank from Zenigma. Now getting pushed back underneath the tower. Should be safe for the time being. And even looking for trades of his own here. Once again, Warboss Justin going to trade out, dropping the Shroud. And this might be a key cooldown down here as both junglers approach this mid lane.
Yeah, no Shroud, no Flash here. But looks like we're going to be jostling over priority for this Rift Herald. And with the top lane pushing, and we already know what Akali can do, it's going to be Zeradon here going ahead and taking away this Scuttle, which is going to give him a lot better vision onto this Rift Herald, which should be spawning very, very soon as Winterfresh continues to spin in the top lane.
Yeah, asserting his dominance as the better Beyblade here up in top lane. Constantly trading out forward here onto Hajima. The clone coming out just a little bit too late. And this is a gank dive setup here from Zenigma, but this wave just isn't in the right place. And honestly, I don't know if you want to dive a Wukong with Cyclone.
Nah, you definitely do not want to do that. Yes, you have Winterfresh, who has a much shorter cooldown on his Cyclone ability, but it's not quite as strong as that monkey with a stick here. Student of Master Yi, the low elo demon. Not much gonna happen there.
Yeah, they got the Guardian Shield procced, I believe, there. So they're going to keep themselves relatively healthy against that Mantra-empowered poke from the Karma. PvD looking not doing too much damage as they manage to clear out that pink ward. Sliding themselves for some gank setup here. So it's set up from Kitty Akira. Looking for this jump in on the Warboss Just. We'll just flash over the wall straight up. Now looking for the fight. Moonfall will land and pull in that Akali, and you are gone. The Shroud is available, but I don't think it's going to be enough. Will tick down with the dots. Crescent Strike finding the kill. Crimval picks up a 2 versus 1 kill in the mid lane.
Crimval gets that 2v1 kill in the mid lane, but Warboss Justin could have just taken that kill or that death more graciously. Does burn the flash at like double-digit HP into Lee Sin and Diana. That's a very, very tough way to go. And we're looking at a potential engage 3-man, potential dive onto a
set up here as the Beyblade from Hajiman will knock up Winterfresh twice, but he's just a little bit too late. He sniffed this one out. And we'll be able to walk back underneath his tower relatively unscathed. Now Bix is in trouble here, but he's got a wave on his side. Pomnik actually going to be the target of a snare. No Dark Binding available. He should be safe, and they're just going to farm out the rest of his wave underneath tower.
Yeah, very safely going to farm that wave, but now we're looking at a pretty safe engage here. Whoa.
Oh, actually the steal going to come in, and he's looking to kick everyone out here with that Crescent Strike. Now trying to stay alive as long as possible. Just to stall out. Perfect execution coming in from Warboss Justin. Both pick up one. And now it's all alone as a double kill for Winterfresh. All of the ultimates, too much execution. They audaciously attempt to take the Rift Herald, and they will all fall as a result. Plate's going over to mid lane, and it's Zenigma finding a huge advantage in the mid game.
Well, there is a ton of mobility on both these top halves of the map for both these two teams, but it looks like Warboss, Justin, and Zenigma are just the more mobile of the champions here. They were able to get in, get the steal with the Smite God himself on the Zen Zhao. Warboss Justin says, look, I may have gotten killed this earlier in a 2v1 and burn my flash, but I can still be very, very effective in this fight here. And Winterfresh picking up the 2 kills for himself on the back end is going to be much, much more oppressive here, as he's already almost 20 CS ahead in his matchup. I mean, this is going to be a very, very tough time for Hajime no Gyodo. This Garen is going to be very, very strong once he goes to go back and pick up some more components for himself.
Yeah, I've got to say, if you're playing this Wukong into a relatively tanky bruiser in top lane, it always sucks to fall behind. It just completely nullifies your kill pressure. Garen is especially good as he can just pop out the courage in the middle of a fight, make sure he can just sustain through the burst damage of the Wukong trade, and then just jump back into the fight once he regains his HP through perseverance. Just so strong up there in the top lane. We'll be able to just sustain through this fight now. And with these item advantage and the gold advantage, now I would even say has kill pressure here onto Hajime no Gito. So needs to be careful here as it's an engagement here. Audacious charge forward from Zen, looking for the kill. I believe there was a teleport burned as well. Hajime no Gito joining the fight here on this Wukong, but not able to find any kind of counter engage. They're just going to walk away from this one, looking towards the dragon as they manage to get the first. Last objective was stolen, so Zenigma, can you do it twice? At 200 HP, he's gonna get kicked away by Kiryu Akiri. He's trying to just deny the ability for him to charge in. He got the ability to charge, but anyways, that happened again. Zenigma does it twice, and despite an attempt to disengage from Kiryu Akiri, they're not able to find that one.
Nah. Hold up. Did we just forget that Zenigma doesn't need the blast cone to go into the dragon pit? Did we not just see what he did to take away the Rift Herald not 2 minutes ago? I'm very confused as to what Kira thought he was doing by hopping over the wall with the ward and then doing absolutely nothing. We have a replay of what just happened there, but honestly, it's really just more of what we just saw 2 minutes ago. Kira does get the ward hop in here, says, okay, now you have no way to get back in the pit. Wait a second, you actually do. And you just stole away the second objective that we had that was basically free twice in a row. Hey, Kira might have to go with what the win con was last game, which was go AFK and let the other four members of your team put in work.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, losing 2 smites as a jungler just feels really bad on your mental. And actually, potential dive here is see the dash forward. Oh my god, Winterfresh is blowing up Hajime no Gito in the top lane. Takes a full tower in place for himself, so he is so far ahead in this lane matchup, and that's the power of a bruiser into Wukong. Once you get that goal lead over him, there's just no way for Hajime to get any kind of kill pressure back, following himself here solo in the top lane.
I don't know, Soap, and I'm thinking the numbers might be supporting that Garen could be one of the best champions in Light League here. Winterfresh absolutely showing a top lane kingdom as he's up 34 CS into the monkey. Now we have seen this Wukong be a very strong champion.
A little bit of a question mark ping on this curtain call. I guess he wants the red buff. Not gonna find it. Throws the binding, also gonna go wide. Yeah, I'd give that one 2 Mia pings out of 5. A little bit weird. Not sure what they're looking for, and you know, ultimately it's a big cooldown burn here, as they're not going to be able to have that pick potential with that engage. But
unless
in the spooky game, they're not going to sniff at this stinky cheese this time. Pops the Crescent Drake trying to stay alive, might be able to get out of this one, as he does now have the tankiness getting kicked back. The exhaust will land, and he will fall. Zenigma not going to get away with it this time, as a binding lands despite an attempted arcade shift. Tonic gonna survive, but there's 4 members down here. Might just be setting up for the dive.
That was a flash binding that landed with the arcane shift right there. Now, I was gonna make a joke about Big Sis trying to be as useless as his jungler by using that curtain call there, but I think what happened was he actually 18-headed against the enemy team. He said, okay, hold up. What if I use my ultimate right here, make them walk straight into me, thinking this man has no idea what he's doing here. Let's just go ahead and get a kill on him. There's the bush play that's already set up here for him, and they were able to secure a kill once more, take away this bot lane turret. They're in a very strong position to try to find a way back into this game. They are down 5k gold right now, but there is a chance for them to make a move, as Kira
Ooh, actually, it's just another bait here. Morgana waiting in the wings, Sonic forced to flash. Now trying to counter this one, be stunned up from the ultimate will land. Flash from Zenigma, but what are you going to land onto? Finally looking for the audacious charge forward, but they managed to find the binding. Now a snare coming up from PPD, Lovely will land. Chaining on forward, Zenigma gonna land the audacious charge once again. Now charging forward, but he's got shield. Might just be enough.
No way. Wait, no way.
The tower will pick up Zenigma. Now PPD Lovely in trouble here is Kita Akira looking to chase forward, forces out the flash, but he's got no mana. Kita Akira will find one more, and what a bait in the bottom lane from Degenerates Ascension.
I take back literally everything I've ever said that was even slightly maybe negative about Kita Akira. This is an anime protagonist we are seeing on the map. Game 1 leaves. There was doom and gloom. His team was ahead very far, and they got behind, comes back at the very end, and was the sole reason they won that game in game number 1. But game number 2 starts looking a little strange, starts making some plays, loses out on some smites here and there, makes you wonder, is the team better off if he just leaves? Then he makes another play in the bot lane. Maybe baits Darth Kylo Ryan a bit, but he says calculated and is able to get the double kill underneath the tower. Kita Akira making a late season case for best jungler in Light League? Who knows?
He's so good, he doesn't even need to be in the game to win. Kita Akira finding the plays in the bottom lane. And this is exactly what Degenerates Ascension needs. Again, every win here in Light League counts. They have to find wins against Zenigma in this series in order to put themselves closer and closer to that playoff contention spot. But it's an engagement here. Moonfall landing onto Warboss Justin, popping the shroud a little bit early, and 3 members here might just be enough, but no, he's just going to be able to shuriken strike out back towards his tower as the True Shot Barrage comes through, tags up Darth Kylo Ryan as they now move towards the Drake. 1-1 so far. Whoever gets this will get the first Infernal and just get a little bit closer towards that soul. And now the team fight will start. It's a little bit split up here from Zenigma, who will be the first one in. It's the audacious charge with the Crescent Strike, and it's massive damage. Kicks everyone back towards this team, but Kita Akira picks up the first kill. Morgana falling on the backside of this one, as well as Hajiman and the next target. Wukong goes down 3 versus 5 now. Degenerates, they're falling apart. They were completely surrounded, and they lose the fight. Warboss Justin zoning out any potential dragon steal here as Kita Akira, you've lost 2 Smite Wars, don't make it happen, don't let it be a third. Dashing over this wall, wants to try and find the Sonic Wave forward onto this pit as the strike will come out, might just finally be able to find the smite, but no one gets the answer. Actually, that one Kita Akira can't do it, and he'll fall as well. 3 for 1 and a dragon, and ultimately it is Zenigma, despite a blunder in the bottom lane, coming up big in the dragon fight.
Okay, I thought Kita Akira was the enemy protagonist. He's strong, but he's not Goku. He's Vegeta. He's Vegeta. He's strong enough to be one of the main characters in the show. He can be around. He can hang around. One of the last ones standing when the bosses come through, when the big bads come through. But he's not the one you call on. I do not know what happened. You missed the smite. You hit the Sonic Wave. I mean, there's no jungler. Zenigma gave his life. He could have just dashed in like he did the last 2 objectives, but he gave his life early. He initiated the fight, died first. And Akira just baffles the mind sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, Zenigma really flexing back. It's the anime power struggle here amongst the junglers. You saw that dash, and he kicked everyone back towards his team and just makes the main character sacrifice, maybe side character sacrifice there, winning the team fight for his team, but ultimately falling. But they got us back. They managed to pick up that objective. Now, engagement here. Look for the Shuriken Strike forward, but now sees that there's 3 members there. Doesn't want any of that, and will be happy to disengage.
Yep. Well, if Kita Akira is Vegeta, then we're looking at Nappa in the top lane with Winterfresh here. Spinning to winning, 6-0 already, 2 items, the Stride Breaker and the Dead Man's Plate. Like you mentioned earlier, it's going to be very hard to enter this Garen as a Wukong with just Sunderer and boots. Tier 1 boots. Those aren't tabbies, by the way. Those are Tier 1 boots. This Garen is going to have a very fun time in the top lane splitting. And I mean, just look at him right now. You're going to have to probably send 2 members to actually really answer him up here. He'll have a free reign to take away this tier 2 if he really wants to, as Baron is going to be spawning on the map in about 20 seconds.
Yeah, abusing that last item that has now been nerfed, and I'm blanking on the name. able to allow him to dash on forward just constantly here with this Garen. So strong on Juggernauts as he continues to just force Hajime no Gido away from this wave at Under Tower, completely zoned out from picking up any kind of farmer. It's going to be a bush Wookiee. Then Jared on dashing on in. Hajime no Gido, you are in trouble. Perfect execution still available as well and just might need it. Will dash on forward. War Boss Justin picks up a solo kill here in the top lane.
Well, War Boss Justin doing what War Boss Justin does. I mean, this is what that a colleague can do. You just have a quick little bait and then you disappear. You absolutely do disappear. And I think the item you're talking about was, hold up.
Right here as Garen getting a little bit underneath the tower there. Dashing forward as its bindings landing across both these bottom lane members. But I'll go back to what you were saying.
Oh, no, you're talking about an item that whose mobility was taken away. Would you say that item's stride was broken?
I guess you could say that. Getting kicked back here, Kitty Akira looking to pick up this Garen, but he is so dang tanky. Spinning to win, and Defender Fresh looking to continue this fight, but it will be ultimately disengaged from. No CC to be had from this poor man with a sword. Just walk back top lane, happy to farm out the waves. Just finding a little bit more pressure on the map for themselves.
Wait, is Garen broke? Is he actually poor in the lore?
You know, I'm actually a lore master, so I can tell you that Garen, being a mighty warrior of Demacia, doesn't really care for these worldly possessions. He's happy to just have his sword, serve his kingdom. He's a good dude all around.
Cool. All right, I'll take your word for it. Is he like just a warrior, or is he like the son of a king or something? One of these guys is the son of a king.
You're thinking of Jarvan. Yeah, his
Jarvan
father, the king Jarvan III.
Jarvan III.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's pretty cool. Garen, still very strong. Winter Fresh, playing this game with the intensity of 1,000 suns here. Going back right now, probably gonna pick up his Sterix gauge if that is what he's gonna be doing. Nope. Only gets the pickaxe here, but he's still gonna be very strong as this Infernal Dragon, potentially the sole point on the map right now. This is gonna be a very, very tough team fight for the side of Degenerates Ascension here. I mean, you have Zenigma, who's been a Smite Lord. You have to actually deal with this Garen now, who's actually going to be at the fight. There's so much poke coming out from both Tonic and Fifi. Do you love me? I do, by the way. And it's going to be hard to actually get positioning into this bot side river. There's no vision. If you get rooted,
Ending the binding, but the engage is coming through. Will sure can strike forward, looking for this one, but you are all alone. Winterfresh on the side just picks up the Wukong. Better Beyblade wins, and they're continuing this chase. Akali will fall. Winter Boss Justin knocking available for the perfect execution onto Kita Akira, but it doesn't matter. Zenigma dashing forward, lands the Crescent Strike onto no one, but won't take any poke back here from this fight. Dashing forward, Bixus picks up one with the Gale Force Jin combo, executes them, and it's a 4 versus 3. Might just look to contest this dragon now as the Bush Wookiee setup from Zenigma, taking a page out of Degenerates' book. Might just look for this one. Will find the dash. Adicious charging forward as he flashes forward, trying to find the kill here on a Bixus teleport now coming in from it is Crimzal on the side. Look for the Moonfall approach, but look at the damage from Winterfresh. He does not care about your tower. He'll continue to charge forward. There's a second teleport now coming in. Crimzal on the fight, looking for the assassination, but might just be able to find it. Dash for Tonic, Arcan shifting away on the backside of that fight. It's Winterfresh still alive in its fight. Finally goes down as the Ezreal will also fall, and it's Degenerates turning it around. They are the better cheesemakers, and they will find the fight off the back of the attempted Bush Wookiee from Zenigma.
I mean, that was just the stinkiest of all cheese, but that wasn't the Degenerates Ascension making that play themselves. That was Zenigma Eclipse. One, finally they had all of the prio in that Dragon Pit themselves. Hold up, might they get pushed off this? War Boss Justin, go make a move here, maybe.
Yeah, that's entirely possible. They don't have Smite here. Have to be careful about getting this one too. Oh my god, he just blows him up. But they'll find the dragon. Now they just gotta escape. How many will fall? How much did this Infernal Dragon cost you? As Warboss Justin continuing to chase forward, gets kicked out. Moonfall gonna land, and the Dark Binding will also land. Dark Killer Garland getting so low. Now flashing out. Now finds the kill in the middle of the perfect execution. He goes down. Fifi, do you love me? Trying to escape from this fight has gone just a little bit too far, and it's Degenerates clawing their way back into this game. The anime redemption arc is on for Kita Akira as they continue to win fight after fight, clawing their way back into the game against Zenigma.
Well, you're either clawing your way back in, or you're being given the keys to the kingdom and all the guards look the other way. In some sense, I feel like Zenigma Eclipse is kind of finding ways to make the game more interesting, if I can be as respectful as possible here. But just props to Degenerates Ascension here for taking what they're being given on the map. Now the gold is still pretty heavily in Zenigma's favor, but the dragon stacking has been brought to an even state. And now this Wukong isn't quite as useless as it was before. Now Crimvale has gotten a little bit stronger. Has a Morel Nalmacon going to stop some of that healing coming through here?
Squad is here, immediately looking for the binding off the back of the slow. Will not find it, but they find the stun. Now snared up underneath this tower, but do you really want to dive Winterfresh? Kicking him back into the team. Look at the shield Winterfresh puts out, but it's just not enough. Now it's Xin Zhao in trouble here as he dashes on forward. Zen going to find one there onto Crimzal, and now the Akali has arrived, looking for the kills here on the executions. Everyone is falling. They've gone too far. Too many cooldowns burn on a tanky man from Demacia. Triple kill now here for Zenigma. He's looking for his fourth in this fight, and no, it's not Jin picking that one up. It's Zen as he finds the last kill of the fight, picks up the ace, and now it's Zenigma looking at the Baron.
Zenigma, led by Zenigma, just had an absolutely smurf of a fight, as we will go ahead and get into this this replay here. Let's go ahead and see what set up this fight here in this ace quad kill for Zenigma here. Looking at all of Ascension making a move, trying to dive this Garen. Look, 5 members against 1 Garen should be very easy, right? Get out clean. Wrong. The whole squad does show up, and there's a ton of damage, a ton of lockdown. And when you see an Akali coming up here, Warboss Dustin does what Akali does, and that is dash and throw knives everywhere. It does get the Zonius out there, but when you see Zenigma on this Xin Zhao, he is just going to make a lot of different moves here, and Tonic comes through, helps out that last kill. I would have liked to see him get one more kill on this Edgel, so he's a little bit stronger, maybe able to get that 3-item spike here at 27 minutes. But Zenigma has shown that he can be a carry for this team, whether it's through getting quadra kills after being 1 in 5 earlier, or being able to steal objectives back-to-back in situations where he has no business being anywhere near the pit, let alone the river. We're looking at a squad here in Zenigma who's come to play. These guys are absolutely looking and fighting for their playoffs lives. They want to hit that second that second place spot here for themselves, and they are playing like their playoff lives depend on it.
Winterfresh continuing to chase Kita Kira through his own jungle. This man just wants a little bit of farm. Please let him have it. He'll finally pick up the Wolf Camp. Winterfresh now just going to take a little bit of harass on the way out, but otherwise be just fine. Again, just super tanky. A massive lead here in the top lane for this Garen as they continue the siege in mid lane. Cannon minions firing, blasting away. Just need one more auto onto this thing, and they'll eventually find the minions with the damage, taking out that turret. Now the potential engagement here in mid lane, trying to find something back to avenge their fallen tower, but no fight off the back of the structure take as they look top lane. Zenigma sending their squad up.
Yeah, sending the squad up to try to make a move onto this top tier 1, as the potential soul point for both teams is going to be spawning very, very soon. The Baron pushes in. Just draw all the members of Degens up to this top side of the map. Force 2 teleports out if you can from Hajime Gildo and Crimvale. But at this point, with the kind of pressure you have on the map, both top and mid, and the vision you have deep in their own jungle here, you should be able to go ahead and either set up a play here to get the drop on them, or just take this dragon in 20 seconds and honestly put yourself in a very, very great position to take a stranglehold on this game too.
Yeah, I'm not really seeing a way for Degenerates to be able to come back and contest this dragon. Still has 7 seconds left on the respawn timer. They could potentially go for something, but really, do they want to? Lee Sin, the only member really super far ahead here for Degenerates, might just be able to look for the smite steal on the suicide play, but not getting spotted out. Forced away from the potential steal. It's the dragon now spawned. No one's starting it up just yet. Could still potentially be a fight breaking out around this objective, but just looks like Degenerates don't want to contest this one. Lee Sin backing right now. Will be the tended curtain call steal once again. Bixus loves to go for these, but we just haven't seen it land yet, as Zenigma picks up their 3rd dragon. Now looking at the last tier 2 on the map. No one was sent for this wave, as CS and a tower both being denied and taken here on the side of Zenigma.
Yep, and now the push just continues here across the map. Bot lane is going to have a little bit of siege going on here, but there's not really too many siege, just not too many champs that are able to really excel in sieging on the side of Zenigma Eclipse. So you can get pressure, but against a Jhin and a Morgana and a Diana and a Wukong under tower, you're not really going to have a very fun time here. Your best bet is to find picks, win team fights, which you have been doing very, very well, as you are about 7k gold in the lead, and really take these towers when there's no one left to defend them.
Oh, he actually... Kita Akira!
Yeah, he did it.
You cannot miss those smites. Are you kidding me? Smiting it
believe you
super
can.
early here against Winterfresh. I think the spin to win just took that one away from him. So losing a jungle camp, now that's a Juggernaut Garen top lane with red buff on top of his own passive. That man will never drop below 80% HP at most before he manages to regen it all back up. Winterfresh looking so strong this game, and that is not the person you want ahead when you have no one with sustained damage to burst him down. Darth Kylo Ryan would be the only person here, but that's a support. Doesn't really have the ability to burn through those Garen resistances or health. Vixus on this Jhin. Everything on this team really is just has just been all in on burst champions and burst damage. And with no sustained DPS to speak of, Winterfresh is just going to continue to wreak havoc on this team.
Yep, like you mentioned, it's so much burst. Darth Kylo Ryan does go for the Imperial Mandate, which is very, very great. He's been hitting these Dark Bindings. He's even been looking very, very good, making sure to get all these Soul Cycles to actually land and stay online. But honestly, into this Garen, I understand that the Garen became a problem much later than the Mythic for Morgana probably came in. But a Leandry's would have been great here. Anything here that does some kind of dot would be amazing for Degenerates Ascension here. But at this point, there's just not a really strong way to get back into this game. If Zenigma keeps playing the game the way they have been, they win these team fights. Winterfresh can walk aggressively and disrespectfully into any area of the jungle and says, okay, send 3 or 4 after me. Send as many as you want. My team will get pressure on the other side of the map, or they're going to come and save me like they did earlier, maybe 5-6 minutes earlier in the game. There's not much of a way for Degens to come back in this game outside of Zenigma just egregiously overstepping and falling with maybe, I guess, Zen Jaredon disconnecting for 5 minutes like Kita Akira did last game. I don't know.
Gonna be in trouble here. Wukong Cyclone on the disengage, using the clone effectively, but Warboss Justin's all the way into this fight, and now they are completely split up. Dashing on forward, it's Garen with the Judgment. Vixus in trouble here. That doesn't have the damage or the peel to be able to get away from this one, but the backside of this fight, it's a 4 versus 3, but they are still losing. Crimfall first to fall in this fight, and now it is Hajima Nogido in trouble here, but it's actually his clone juking out even the casters in this team fight. He'll stay alive as he manages to get back into this base, completely breaking the ankles of Zenigma and myself there on that team fight. Props to him for keeping himself alive.
Yeah, well, just himself alive, but this is going to be one more objective taken for the side of Zenigma unless Kita Akira is able to still... Let me go ahead and just be realistic here. That's not going to happen at all, as they are able to go ahead and discourage Zenigma from continuing their pressure on the Baron.
Yeah, they're actually just looking for the fight here. Maybe a 4 versus 4 as Lord Boss Justin was just a little bit far away, but now forcing actually the disengage here. Won't be a Baron take just yet. Zenigma, I would want to say, had the gold lead that in the presence on the map, honestly, that they probably could have just gone for that one, but not wanting to risk the Baron throw. Gonna just walk away. You know what? If you can lose in a 4v5, you can lose at a Baron throw. They're not willing to risk anything here in this series as they need these wins to lock in that second playoff spot. Don't want to give it up. Continue the pressure forward here. Last dragon spawning. It will be Soul. And we're just really looking at Kita Akira. Can he deny this one? We haven't gotten a Smite secure yet this game. This could be the first, and it would be so clutch for the side of Degenerates as they manage to deny the X damage here. Zen Jeroboam so tanky here on the Xin Zhao. He has now actually locked in the Potion of Iron. We'll give him that extra tenacity in these team fights. Avoid these Morgana bindings. Avoid the CC combo that can come out from this bottom lane. And the dragon will get started up. Kita Akira on the side looking for the steal. It's down to half. Can he do it? No, it's too late. Inferno Soul has been taken. They're looking for the fight. And it's a 4 versus 5 as he's just so far away from this fight. PPD getting taken low. Backside, it's Carlo Land going golden, staying alive for now. But Vixus being taken out by Hajime Nogoto on the backside of the fight. The backline has fallen, and it's all falling apart here. Kinval will also fall to Tonic. It's 1v1s across the map as Garen on the top side fighting him on Nogito still. As Kita Kira getting chased out. Will Q over the Gromp finds the kill. Winterfresh finds the kill, and it's all Zenigma with the soul as they charge down mid lane looking for the inhibitor.
Looking for the inhibitor, maybe looking for numerous inhibitors here, as there is a strong wave there in the top side as well, freely hitting this inhibitor turret. But it looks like we're just going to go ahead and make a move to this four-man, push in the mid lane. And honestly, this game is just over. Tonic in the nicest, most fancy Gucci backpack of all time, ending the game 2-2-5 on the Ezreal. But we haven't talked about how Winterfresh played so impressively. Zenigma, I mean, all he had to do was breathe and have his eyes open into Kita Kira in this game 2 matchup here. We saw some very, very strong plays out of Zenigma Eclipse in this game. I was very, very impressed.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's either jungle diff or team diff here. You gotta communicate, you gotta be able to pull out those drakes, make sure you're either comboing or just not hitting the dragon to make sure you can secure those smites. So it's all up to Degenerates Ascension to find something else here in this next game, as they are now 1-for-1, really need every win, make every single win count, as they are still looking at playoff contention spots. Every win they get just puts them a little bit closer and puts Destiny just slightly more back into their hands as they move closer and closer to 8th place. And it's Zenigma looking to shut them out here, 1-1 so far in this series. We'll have to see what happens in game 3 as they throw it over to our analyst desk to break this one down.
I gotta say, I have love for my boys. That's what I will say to you, Dunzy.
And I will say, Zenigma looks like the true number 3 seed that we had hyped up coming into this matchup.
No. Don't start that with me. I don't need any of that, okay? I will be fair. Zenigma looked so much stronger this time around. They looked like they actually had a game plan. They executed on it perfectly.
Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. I was insensitive, Zephyr. Do you want to pour one out for your homies here? You got the lemon juice available?
Do I want to pour it? No.
No?
Dunzy, I'm gonna be very honest with you. Stomach kind of hurty after a lot of the lemon juicy.
That's right. For those of you who are just joining us, my co-host Zephyr over here at the desk drank a lot of lemon juice because his brain no work, losing that pre-show trivia quiz to Sulpin. But anyway, Zenigma come back. It's
Zenigma
not
come back 1-1.
over.
No, it's not.
It's not.
No. Far from it.
For Degenerates. Okay, we still got 4 games left in the season. 1 left tonight. They absolutely need a win here to mount the comeback of the split, I should say, for Degenerates and make this dream stay alive. Zenigma, though, they see an opportunity. They see a window right now. Okay, Hawthorne is currently in game 3, and Zephyr, I got 3 streams up right now. I'm watching Hawthorne versus Clockwork over here. I'm watching Cape Dogs versus Divine Ascension over here. I am standings watching. I am into it. Cape Dogs just took another incredibly tight game from Divine Ascension. Super, super close throws from both teams. But they are making their playoff push. They're 12-11 now. Meanwhile, Hawthorne it's an execution. They are demolishing Clockwork. I just watched.
Am definitely a lot of. I'm surprised given the position that CB has been in these last couple weeks. They haven't looked particularly bad, but Hawthorne is making a statement.
Yeah.
And this is what I mean when I say that this squad is by far like one of, if not the best that we currently have in the league. And I will take it to you every day of the week and say that I think Low Saint got a cap on him, but we'll settle that during playoffs, eh?